Hi, I'm Sarah Millican. I want to tell you about some of my favourite gig casts that we've ever done at Standard Issue. The first one I'm recommending to you is one with Susan Calman, Joe Caulfield and me. And it is episode 3. This is really early, back in the very, very early days. I loved it so much. I love Calman, I love Caulfield. Susan Calman is the only person who, when I see her, I dance at her and she dances at me. And for that reason, anything she's ever in, I will watch, I will enjoy, I will love. She's amazing. Joe Caulfield, I've adored since before I did stand-up. She was one of the very first comedians I ever saw live before I'd even thought that I could do it, that it was even a thing I fancied. When I got divorced, I had always wanted to go to the Edinburgh Fringe just to watch plays and watch stuff. And I went up to the Edinburgh Fringe on my own. I went for a few days. It was too late to get accommodation nearby, so I was really far out. So I used to go in and spend the whole day watching stuff and then go back again. And Jo Caulfield is one of like 3 comedians I saw, and I adored her and I've adored her ever since. I think she's an incredible, skilled writer and performer. I think they're both hilarious, and the fact that I got to sit on a stage with them and Mickey Noonan for an hour and a bit and have a wonderful time just hooting with laughter. Also, the reason it was Mickey and it wasn't everybody else from Standard Issue was because the other members of the Standard Issue team were at the Chortle Awards in that their big London, and we actually won an award that night, so it was like a double extra special night. This is a hilarious conversation. Please enjoy.
Women and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Sarah Millican, Jo Caulfield, Susan Calman, and Standard Issue editor Mickey Noonan.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
This is fun.
It was drafty there.
It was.
That's why I've got my fleece on. I'm not an idiot. I brought a fleece. It's Glasgow.
Are you going to keep that on all night?
Probably. It's still a bit chilly. No, I'll take it off.
This is what you were all expecting, right? We're just going to take it.
Sexy.
I liked the blouse, though.
Well, look. I'm having problems. Sorry. I've got builders in.
And that's not like having the painters in.
No.
It's different.
And they've taken apart the flat, and these are the only clothes I could find. And I wanted to make more of an effort for you all, but literally this is all I fucking had. I'm sorry. So this is it's ironed, I think. John Lewis.
I like it.
John Lewis.
It was more floral than I was used to.
Well, I'm friends on John Lewis, a company that I like, and I just buy everything online so that it's going to a shop. So
Yeah. And you know what size you want? It's lovely, that,
Yeah.
isn't it? You have to do all the fannying on.
yeah.
My shirt's not ironed, and I said to Sarah, shall I iron my shirt? Feminism.
Go.
I never iron, and I consider it a luxury of being a feminist that I don't have to iron ever. And even like when I do a show, I hang 2 dresses up because I worry about spillage because I eat a lot, and I'm quite messy. And then whichever is the least creased is the one I put on, and they provide an iron and an ironing board at all of the venues. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that's for. I don't know where my iron and ironing board are in the house. I never iron.
The last thing I ironed, I was actually wearing. I was like, God, this
At the
is...
time?
Yeah. I was like, God, I'm scared.
One of my old school friends, her mum once ironed her tights.
Yeah.
Well, how did they not just disappear into a tiny ball?
I don't know. It's very. I've never looked at women going, your tights are crinkly.
That means they're too big. That's what
It
that
does
means.
if they hang at a
You've got
gusset.
crinkly nails. Yeah. You've got a low gusset.
I feel quite bad about this feminism, though, because can I admit something? Because this is what we're talking about. So the judgment on your faces already. Millican's face just going, Calman. This might make me a bad feminist. Here's a question. I'm not a bad feminist. I'm a good feminist, but I've got a wife, so I win the feminism thing, by the way. Being a lesbian, I own a woman, so okay. I bought one, and every Sunday night I stand and I do all of her shirts for the week. Oh, because I don't want to leave the house in a rumpled shirt.
A lovely Mrs.
She is lovely, though.
She is, but that's now making me feel bad that She sits on the sofa holding to her shirts. I feel this is the right forum for you to admit this and that you're in an abusive relationship. I am.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. That started quickly, didn't it? I wonder if we should...
Cheer.
Yeah. Should I... Yeah. Oh, let's do that. Give it a cheer if you read Standard Issue magazine. Yay. Okay, let's convert the rest of you fuckers.
Wow.
Should we talk a little bit about what that is before we get started?
Sarah, what is Standard Issue magazine?
Wow, question one. So Mickey is the editor of Standard Issue magazine, and she's awesome. Standard Issue magazine is an online women's magazine that I had an idea about and then pressured Mickey into making into an actuality. Which, because I don't really read women's magazines. I don't find anything that's kind of suitable for me because I'm not really interested in kind of fashion and beauty and things. And I thought, well, there seems to be a gap for something that is more inclusive and has all sorts of things that women are interested in, such as everything, for example. Because I believe we are allowed to think about all sorts of things with our lovely little brains. So I
No. I fundamentally disagree with the premise.
So I decided to set that up because I don't believe in just moaning about something. I think, well, let's be proactive and do something instead. And that is now existing, and it is standardissuemagazine.com if you fancy having a look. Not now, rude. Later on. And Mickey's the editor, and we decided to put some events on, mostly so we can just chat with awesome women, but also to kind of spread the word about what Standard Issue is. Is that all right?
That was brilliant. Thank you very much.
It is everything, because that is always the thing with women's magazines. I only read them. I do read them if I go to the hairdressers because I like to, well, I'll read ones that are like things like Closer, things like that. I like to see who celebrities are because I don't know who they are now. So I just look at these people and go, who the fuck wants to read about these people? Because they look exactly the same as the people I was reading about 10 years ago, but they're different people. They have different names. But also, that off women's magazines, you just go, really, you just need to have made one. Because they are always the same. They're always the same kind of article, aren't they, about having it all, but having it all while looking really nice. And here's how you can have it all and look really nice. And that's all it is over and over again, isn't it?
Joe, do you think you can have it all and look really nice?
Well, I don't want to brag.
And have time to fucking iron.
Get Calman to do it.
I know, Gal, she loves it.
Do you take ironing in?
Right.
See, I would have posted up to Glasgow.
When I was growing up, my mum used to do the ironing on a Sunday night in front of Inspector Morse or something.
The man or the show? The show.
And with she would always, now I know what she was doing, which was she would take a seat in an armchair to iron and get us to bring her gin and tonic. So actually, Mum spent Sunday nights drinking whilst going, I'm doing the ironing. And then we would find black bags full of the ironing behind the chair, and she would only ever do like enough shirts for the week or whatever. So I see it as quite a I'm just someone who I don't want my wife going to court looking, like no one cares about her.
She is a
little orphan. People going, oh, she's married.
When you say court, she's a lawyer.
Yeah, she's a lawyer. It's not she's, so she looks presentable in front of the judge. Yes, so rather than as the accused. Yes, put down. Yeah, attempting to get off a charge. So
do you get pissed when you iron then?
Like I take it very seriously.
Doesn't surprise.
No, I do. I take it very, very seriously. And I'm quite good at it.
Do you do collars and cuffs and sleeves first?
Collars.
This is not what I thought tonight was going to be. Just going to say
collars, cuffs, body, sleeves, hang it up, top button.
You know what I do? I
great feminist discussion. That's the point. The point of feminism is we don't all need to look like that. We can take care of ourselves occasionally. No. So feminism. Irons we can iron, doesn't it?
Yeah. My ironing is I put this shower on and then hang it in the room. And then just 10 minutes later, I come back and it's done.
But is it not always damp? I tried that once and I don't mind a damp shirt. I don't like going out with a damp shirt on.
I don't mind it.
Okay.
I'm quite pro-damp.
So do you have some serious questions?
Some.
Okay.
Okay. So you're all stand-up comedians.
Yes.
What is the best thing about your working life? Hello.
Oh.
Joe, do you want to kick us off?
Oh. Now, I feel I've been put on the spot. Like, what is good in my life? Oh, God. Oh,
Is it that
God.
you've got it all and you look lovely today?
Why
Why does no one ask me why I still look lovely when I have it all? Why is it Joe Caulfield?
I think best thing. Well, I do. I love doing stand-up. I think there's always something wrong with people who want to do it. Why would you want to get up in front of strangers and go, "Oh, do you love me a little bit?" So I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it sometimes when I can look at people and they think they're not going to like me. I love that because I can see them go, "Oh." And then you turn around and you change their minds, and then that's very, very satisfying. But it's just very satisfying to make people laugh and be in control. And it's the only place where it's acceptable for you to do all the talking. Like, if I could go out with my friends and they would just shut the fuck up and let me do it all. But apparently that's not socially acceptable. So, but if I go on stage, it's just me, more about me. You know, occasionally, just because it's polite, I'll go, oh, never mind. Yeah. Bit of banter, that's enough from you. Yeah. But I can never go. There's the simplicity of it as well. We just get in my little car, drive somewhere, and there I am. That's it. I don't have to bring any things that you forgot to bring. See? Yeah.
It's going to be a long night for me. Susan? Yeah, the way you look lovely and you have it all.
Thank you very much. Stop flirting. So, I think I kind of agree with Joe, actually, that when you do stand-up specifically, when you do other types of comedy, so if you do news quiz, they edit it down from an hour and a half to 26 minutes. If you do a television show, they'll let you say things or not. They'll put out what they want. And stand-up is the one time when no one can tell you what to do. So the reason I like doing the Fringe is it's 55 minutes of whatever I want to say. Whether or not people like it or not, it's a different matter. But it's the one time you can say, this is what I want to say for 55 minutes. It's, to me, absolutely, as Joe was saying, like the purest form of self-expression. Because even when you write stuff down, people can get the wrong end of the stick because, sarcasm doesn't come across properly. So I like 55 minutes at the Fringe of this is what I want to say. And, no one can tell me that I can't say it. And I think that's why stand-up's a great thing. Obviously, you can tell whether the audience is enjoying it or not. But whether or not you want them to enjoy it's a different matter. Sometimes you say things because you don't want the audience to enjoy it. No, deliberately, because if you're wanting to provoke a reaction, that's the other thing about stand-up. Language is so interesting in that you can provoke a reaction from people and then undercut it if you want to. So I think it's that. It's that if you work for the BBC or other broadcasters, they get nervous about certain things, like women talking. Yeah.
Especially this amount of women.
This would scare the living shit out of them.
Yeah.
3 women on the one stage would be horrific for them. This is, by the way...
Who's not the woman? There's 4 of us.
4. I mean, 3 stand-ups. Sarah, she always believes me when we do these things, by the way. It's only going to get worse.
What they would do if it was television, they would have us here, but then kind of loose women style, a young man would have to come on as a guest, and then we would all go, oh, young man. Yeah.
I've been one of those women, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I got kissed on my neck by Usher.
Did you?
Yeah. And somebody, it was
on the neck?
Yeah, well, you went...
Where was he going?
Tit. No. That's where they are sometimes when I've got my bra on.
I feel the neck.
He went for my cheek, and I just thought we were doing like a moi rather than a proper, and I moved, and he kissed my neck, and somebody
it's quite intimate.
Somebody was watching it and sent my husband a message saying it like I was cheating him on live telly.
It's the best way to do it, though, because then you just go, oh, we weren't really fucking, it was television.
Yeah, it was work.
Yeah.
I was working.
Yeah.
Oh, I got paid for that.
Oh, no. I was going to tell you the best almost cheating on my wife story, excusable. Okay, this is quite funny. Don't let this leave the room. My agent phoned me and said, a casting agent's really interested in you for a role. And I was like, oh, great, no problem. She went, it's for a Hollywood film. And I went, fuck yeah, this is fine. I'll leave this shit behind. I'll see you later. And she said, it's with Keira Knightley to play, now, I shit you not, twins to play Keira Knightley. No, it's best that to play Keira Knightley's girlfriend. Oh,
Like just standing ironing for us.
Right. And I said, oh my God, that's amazing. They said, oh no, they're really interested in you, Susan. They really want you. But then they found out how tall you were. And you're too short for Keira Knightley.
Well, the right height for Tom Cruise.
Yeah. So I said to the wife, I was almost Keira Knightley's girlfriend. She went, I feel a bit funny about you, having sex with another woman on screen. And I went, it's okay because I'm not tall enough. I said, well, I mean, it wouldn't matter because we'd be lying down all the time anywhere. And she left the room. And then started, every time she comes on telly now, she said, that's your girlfriend! And then she started texting me during the day, what's your Chanel advert going to be like? Me chasing pigeons for chips. I almost got, because then it's excusable if it's in a film. What I'm saying is if it was in a film and I had to winch Keira Knightley.
Yeah, Dudley Moore, he was always with huge, tall ladies.
I know.
It would look hilarious.
I don't think it was meant to look hilarious. It was meant to, it was like a
Romantic. No, it would be romantic. Sorry, I meant romantic.
Yeah. And then I worried because I've kissed the same woman for 14 years and knew that way you get used to kissing someone. Like, I can't breathe out my left nostril, so we always have to kiss that way, otherwise I suffocate. Because I can't breathe out one of my nostrils. So if she was trying, sometimes when you passionately kiss, you do I'd have to go, Keira, just the once.
Yeah.
Didn't happen anyway, so it's fine.
But you seem to have thought a lot about the kissing.
Just briefly, George.
If I was Lee, I'd be a little annoyed about it. Kind of forgot the question. I was going to say, now this is so not the Keira Knightley story. The only time where I went for an audition and they said, we think they're going to be keen on you. And we had the same agent, and she laughed when she said what it was for. And it was to play, now it was a what they call, it's not a reenactment, anyway, some real drama, docudrama thing. And it was to play Camilla Parker Bowles. No, honest to God. I do stress, and that's what my agent said, it is the younger Camilla Parker Bowles. And I didn't actually go in for it because I thought I couldn't live with myself. Also, I couldn't live with that, walking into the room and just seeing a load of women look like me all sitting there going, please don't let me get this part.
Someone put on Twitter, and I think this was right, because you often find out when friends have gone for castings for various things, and someone put, I can't remember what it was, said the most humiliating casting anyone must ever have done was for, that advert for Chicken Madras.
Yeah.
Maybe Chicken Madras. Imagine standing in a room in front of like 20 advertising execs going, see you, baby. Chicken Madras.
I think they picked the right woman, though. She bloody loves Chicken Madras. She really does.
She clearly enjoys it.
She's good at it, isn't she?
She loves it. But I still think that would have been quite a difficult thing to...
This is, I think, I don't know if other people would have thought about it the way I did, and maybe this is a feministy thing, right?
Right.
Get into our feminist position. Which is this, obviously. It's all a casting, and it was a show on. It's a nice actor. I can't remember his name. Is it called George Gently? He's a lawyer.
George Gently. Policeman.
Is he a policeman?
He's a policeman.
Martin Shaw. I thought he was a judge.
John D. Do you think?
Judge John D. Judge John. Thank God you're here.
Manan. Judge John D.
I'm like you now. I remember him from The Professionals. Young people, no idea. Yeah. So it was the same man, wasn't it? It was the same man. And I've always quite liked him as an actor. So it was him when he's Judge John D.
Yes.
But was it that one? Because it was definitely him, Martin Shaw, but they do real cases. They were doing real cases, and the case they were doing was when the actress, Gillian Tailforth,
That's right.
had been pulled over by the police. Now, she was in EastEnders. I think she's in it again now, or possibly she's in another soap. And you're not meant to think that's weird. Right. But, so she was pulled, this was a real thing that happened. She was pulled over by the police, apparently, and she was giving her husband a blowjob on the sidings of the motorway. And you're not allowed to stop on the motorway. But you're also... You're not. It's very dangerous. Like an emergency vehicle could have come along and then she would have choked. Right?
Or chomped.
So, she was taken to court in a rather unpleasant way, I think. And in the court case, which I thought was one of those things where you go, oh, this is people, really men on a weird, kinky power trip. People describe things that she did at parties, how one of her party tricks was pretend to give a blowjob to a bottle when she's drunk, just as a laugh kind of a thing. And they did that in court, which I thought was really unpleasant. That was a bit like, you know, if you're a rape victim, they go, oh, well, we've seen you walking around in a short skirt. It was that kind of like trying to defame her character, even though it is dangerous to stop on a motorway siding. So it was to play her in the court case, and they sent the script. And it was so unpleasant, even in the script, because Martin Short, you know I like him, he was. There would be a prosecutor saying to me, playing her, here's a bottle, show what you did at the party doing a blowjob and all this kind of thing. And I just thought the whole script was so unpleasant to women. And I just thought, I don't want to be part of something that puts that out there in the world. Here's another thing where we're just stamping on women. So I just said, I couldn't even think about it because I find it just really unpleasant and degrading for her and me.
Would you have done the young Camilla?
I don't know how many blowjobs were involved.
There's a really fascinating website. I think it's called The Casting Call. Have you seen it? You must have seen it. It's a New York project where they get female actresses to read out the casting descriptions for films.
There's also a Twitter account.
There's a Twitter account, and it is the most extraordinary thing because it's usually male actor, 30 to 60, female actor, 18, size 2.
Yeah,
you know, and it's quite a remarkable.
Must be prepared to wrestle in jelly.
Yes. Slight nipple shot required. Those kind of things. So, yeah. I'll do partial nudity.
I do like legs. That's
even if they don't want me to.
Legs and arms is partial nudity, isn't it?
Yes. I have a very shapely calf.
I'm very really positive about myself. I have a really nice calf.
It's a very nice calf.
I don't doubt it for a second. Show you them. What's the difference between... Go on, then. It's nice. I need to good calf. Yeah. What is the difference between... I know full nudity is full. What is there...
I think it's no fanny.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh, partial tits only.
Yeah, I think tits only. Or side tit.
Oh,
yeah, they do some of that sometimes. They side tit, where if it's not the nipple, it's a different...
If I lie on my back, it's all side tit, if I'm honest.
Although I watched The Night Manager the other day, which I quite enjoy as a drama. And there was quite an explicit sex scene that I was not expecting.
I watched that, which I've never watched it, the other night with the sound down, and I was doing something else, and they went, I watched something because I do like to lie in front of the telly. Yeah. That whole thing, I was going, she was so right, your mother. And I saw it, and so I don't know the story at all, but I know he's in it, Hugh Laurie. Yes. And a very beautiful, very thin woman who had shown quite a lot of side tit.
A lot of side tit.
Yes, in a negligee side tit. But because I didn't know the story, he went up and kissed her. And I went, because it was old tortoise, very young, lovely thing. And I was just like, you go, that's so... Are they together in it?
Yes, I think the explanation is, though, that he has bought her. So, yes, I think, spoiler alert, he has bought her to a certain extent. So she's kind of a high-class call girl type situation.
Oh, so it's not meant to be romantic love.
Not like she's actually fallen, although he is a billionaire and it is tempting. I think it would be tempting.
Yeah.
I'm not, look, I'm still a feminist, but, you know, if
you're still a lesbian.
I am still a lesbian. For the right amount of money, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, if the money's right, clearly not.
I think it's important as a feminist to be open to all options. And if a man had a lot of money.
And Hugh Laurie's
Works
funny.
for
Is he
Donald
funny
Trump.
in it? Is he funny in it?
Sorry?
Is he funny in it?
Who?
Hugh Laurie.
Fully in it.
Funny?
Oh, she's
She's got a weird accent.
No, he's not funny. It's just quite threatening-y kind of.
Oh, that's all right, because I wasn't following the story. I thought, oh, if he's, am I meant to be sympathetic?
No,
It looks
it's not
very
comedy.
unpleasant. This old man,
John
girl.
LaCarrie.
Oh,
As we see up here, it's a John LaCarrie production.
LaCar.
John LaCarrie.
I found out tonight on the train over, because I do live in the land of Scotland, but I live in Edinburgh, boo, if you like, right? A place I'd never heard. It was a different train journey.
The Queen Street Tunnel shut, everyone, for 4 months. Yeah, if you're on Twitter, all you've had is ScotRail telling you the fucking tunnel shut. We know the fucking tunnel shut. It's shut for 4 months, okay? You would know how it's really good. They built a canopy and everything. In George Square, a bloody canopy. Everyone queue onto the canopy, quickly. There's no trains. And everyone's like, we don't want to fucking go to Edinburgh anyway. Anyway, sorry, darling.
That's why the streets have been more pleasant in Edinburgh then. I was only going to say, you learn something every day. Unless the woman on the announcer is wrong, Milngavie is actually Milguy.
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 Because I did think I was on the wrong train, because it clearly says Milngavie.
Where are you from? I'm from Bearsden or Milguy. That's where I'm from.
Milguy.
It's Milguy.
Milguy. Oh, is it past Milguy?
Oh, shit.
Oh, it doesn't sound it. Is it?
Milguy, Bearsden and Milguy are very posh.
Are they? Yeah. Is she shitting me, though?
No.
Oh.
Are you saying, are you saying Bears End?
Bears End.
Sorry.
I thought
Bearsden.
it sounded Bears End rough. Now I know.
No, Bearsden's very nice. You've got Kirkintilloch. Oh.
Huh.
Lenzie, quite posh. Maybe. Croy. And, no, Bearsden and Milguy, very, very posh. Very, very posh. Like I wouldn't want to live there. But I couldn't live there because I don't have any money.
No.
I went
But if you were with Hugh Laurie.
I went to school in Bearsden.
Oh.
Yeah. We were busting.
now.
Where are you? We were busting to provide because I grew up in Annie's Land, so it's not like Bearsden and Milguy. Anyway, any other local questions? Sorry.
Or Ireland questions.
Sorry.
Annie's Land, I always think, and I've never been, I always think it sounds the most lovely place because it makes me think. Do you know what I think of? When I think of Annie's Land, I think of lots of ladies, I was going to say middle-aged, probably my age, just having a drink and enjoying themselves. It's Annie's Land. Do what the fuck you like. Yeah.
So there's one bar.
Ladies.
There's one bar in Annie's Land called Bee Gees. So that should tell you what Annie's Land is like. Yeah, you could go to Bee Gees or the Morrison.
You can do what you like. Yeah.
Lots of ladies having a lovely
Yes. Do you have any questions on feminism? I apologise. Sorry. we're just bonding with the audience. So
What's this canopy like? No.
they've got a queuing system, Michaela. They've got a fucking queuing system. So if anyone doesn't know that there's no trains. Yes, Noonan. What's your question?
When did you know you were a feminist, and how did it kind of manifest itself? Did you have a light bulb moment? Wow.
I think, well, sort of recently it properly kicked in, like really fucking properly kicked in. But I think it kicked in a little bit when I was about 18. I saw Thelma and Louise. I've always been an avid film fan, seeing films weekly, sometimes 2 or 3 if I could, and started writing a film review column when I was like 21. So it only because I really wanted to be doing it anyway. So when I was 18, I saw Thelma and Louise, and I'd never seen a film. I don't think I'd ever seen a film where the men were kind of relatively inconsequential, like very secondary. And I absolutely loved it. And I loved the kind of sort of, I love that it was, I read the script and I loved everything about it. I absolutely loved it. And then I had an argument with a lecturer. I had a male lecturer who I was doing A-level maths, pure and stats. And I only did it for 8 months because it was really fucking hard. And then I left. But at one point, he was really argumentative to me, and I was arguing back, and he kind of shut me up in a sort of really patronising
kind of trying to quieten me down sort of way that I'd not really seen him do with the boys in the class. He let them sort of argue their side. And I was really annoyed, and I didn't really know how to word what I wanted to say. So I just asked him if he'd seen Thelma and Louise. He went, no, and I said, I think you should. That was it. And that was when I thought, oh, maybe that's what that is, I guess. And then latterly, probably when I started doing stand-up, I think it certainly kicked in because I'd worked in offices and worked in civil service and shops and things where I was surrounded by women. And then I went into an industry where I just saw the odd woman every now and again. And I think that was when I really sort of realised that the jobs that I'd been in were quite fair. And I didn't really think that the job that I'd gone into it seemed particularly fair at that stage anyway. So I think it certainly kicked in then. But but that lecturer had no idea what I was talking about. But I felt much better after I gave him a film recommendation.
Jo?
Well, Thelma and Louise, loved it. I do remember it coming out and just everybody loved it. And there's a brilliant scene because, and this is why it was such a female film and a straight female film, because of the shot, because they didn't do shots like this. The shot where they're sitting in the car and Brad Pitt, and they look at him in the wing mirror and you see his arse and the camera goes down. He's got the most fantastic arse in these Levi jeans and it goes down like that. And that was how they film women, but they filmed him like that. And he was just this sex object, and it was gorgeous, and she had a lovely time with him, and then that was it. She was finished with him, did he steal her money? God, oh God, you would remember that, didn't you? See? I just remembered the good time. The good time I had with Brad, but I didn't remember that he stole my money. I think they didn't care, though. I think they went, oh, fuck it, she had
That's what led them to go and...
to start the cries.
Yeah, exactly. The spoilers. Film that's 20 years old, sorry.
Did you watch past the bit with...
Well, then... Seems like I just got stuck there, doesn't it? Yeah. But I don't know if I had it's weird to think of, because I think there's moments... where I remember, right, I don't remember anything where I thought I couldn't do something because I was female. I thought I couldn't do something because I'm not trained or qualified to do anything at all, right? And I had a series of, sort of shitty jobs that I quite enjoyed. So I think I didn't really think about, and also because I'm older than you, so when I was young, there was very positive women around. In terms of music, there was all very cool people. There was Joan Jett, there was Blondie, there had been Patti Smith, there was the Slits, there was all sorts of women. Polystyrene I used to love because it was mental, it was brilliant. So I didn't think of I've got to be a certain way, and I was never very into dressing in a fashionable ladies way. And I think it's quite odd that everyone dresses like a lady now. In The Apprentice, when The Apprentice started, the women looked like they were going to go for a job. They were dressed in business stuff. Now I think they look fucking ridiculous. It's like, what the fuck happened? They're meant to be going to work, but they're all done and heels, and I think they look ludicrous. But I do remember in the 90s, I was doing a radio show, me and Laura Shaven, who you know, and we were talking about this because it seemed like, because there was women on telly, we were like, we'll push up bras and we can all drink pints, that people thought feminism was over. And I remember having a conversation with several women then of but no, it isn't. We mustn't think that the fight is over. And then I think I sort of forgot about it for ages. And as happens with feminism, and now it seems to have come up again in that it's quite popular, which I think is a worry sometimes, because feminism can have a boom and bust. I think if you overplay it, people go, oh, fucking women going on, and then people get fed up, and then feminism dies again. I think it's just got to be constantly in you that knowing that, nothing should be because of your sex. Nothing should be that you can't do something because of your sex. But I think we mustn't look to be offended. I think you shouldn't use it cheaply.
Yeah.
Oh, I've ruined it now.
No, I'm about to be serious as well. It's good. So I think I've got a slightly different experience of feminism, perhaps from the ladies here and perhaps from yourself, in that I am a lesbian. Now,
not a very good one.
Not a very good one.
I have some flies.
How much money for you, Larry? Please don't report me to Claire Balding.
Is she the head? Is she the head?
Claire Balding is the head. She is our queen. And I accept her reign. So, Rona Cameron said it was very interesting. They did a documentary on what it was like growing up as a gay in Scotland. And Rona Cameron said a very interesting thing in it, which was basically when you were at university at a certain time in Scotland, you had to join a society to get sex. So you had to pretend to be interested in political things in order to meet anyone, because there weren't really gay bars. So all the lasers were part of the political movement. So from a very early age, I was a feminist because I wanted sex. Because in order to meet other women, you had to go along to women's magazines meetings and, banning bombs and stuff like that, because you wanted to meet people. So I've been a feminist since I probably started going out in the scene, which is 14. To be honest, though, it really wasn't something that made any sense to me. It really was. I was told what feminism meant to those people. And I disagreed with a lot of it because a lot of the kind of queer politics at the time was quite separatist in terms of women and men and the patriarchy and how everyone felt. And I'm very much an inclusive person in terms of my queer politics. And I think it was a difficult time post-70s feminism and all that kind of stuff. People were very angry about a lot of things. I really only truly understood what it was to be a feminist when I was a lawyer. And the incident is very clear in my brain. I was training to be a lawyer and I was forced to go from Glasgow to Edinburgh. Forced. There were trains then. I was forced to go from Glasgow to Edinburgh every day to train. I had to go on an early train because I had to go and get cherry scones for the partners. So I had to leave the house at something like 5:30 every morning to get on the train to go and get the cherry scones for the fucking partners and make their coffee and all that shit, which I had to do because I was the woman. And I had a nice suit. My mum bought it for me. It was a trouser suit, but it was a nice suit. And I used to wear a pair of Tank Girl boots because I was walking for miles to get cherry scones for these arseholes. And the partner called me into the office one day and said, "Susan, we think you would do much better at the firm if you just made a bit more of an effort. Maybe put on a bit of lipstick, wore some heels, made a bit of an effort."
Does that make your law better?
It does to some people. And I remember thinking at the time, and I said to him at the time, I was so angry, and I wasn't very confident at that age. I'm much more confident now. I said, "Why didn't you tell Brian to cut his hair? Brian's got a fucking stupid Oasis haircut that's out of date. Why don't you tell Brian to cut his hair?" And I went, "No, it's because, Susan, we feel. And I was at another firm where they had a meeting because they had a big fireworks display. It was a law firm again at the end of the Fringe, and they had a meeting to discuss what they would do if I brought a woman to it. Now, in hindsight, I wish I'd hired a hooker.
Yeah.
I really wish I'd hired, the biggest titted blonde woman I could find and turned up at that thing. But I was so embarrassed. Now, it's actually my legal career made me a feminist because, and I'm sure it's all fine now, but no, I know it's not out. At that time, women still, despite being over 50% of the graduates in law, were not getting to the position, partly because arseholes thought they could tell me how I should dress. And not just how I should dress, but I should dress more like a woman. And that incident is so firmly imprinted in my brain as to how outrageous it is that an old man, an old fucking man, can tell me how... So now I'm like, you lot can't tell me how the hell I do anything. And so it's that one moment in my life where I actually thought, I know what feminism is. Feminism is being patronised and being told I'm not enough of a woman, despite being intelligent, despite being good at my job, despite getting your motherfucking cherry scones. Because I don't look attractive, you will never respect me. And they never would respect me because I didn't look...
You don't look the way they want women to look. It's not about you being not attractive. It's about that we want women to look like this.
Yes.
And that is acceptable to us and our type.
And so I think for someone who doesn't look like people might want women to look, I want to fight even harder to show that I am what women look like. this is the thing. I am what women look like. I'm just not the women they put on television because they think people don't want to see what women look like.
Well, that's why they've dressed them all up in the fucking Apprentice.
Yeah.
You put women on television, oh, well, we must give them the women on television look.
Yeah. So that's when I became a feminist.
That's a really
Good for you.
good
story.
Where did I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so. Oh, I'm sure it's going on still, that sort of thing.
I can't possibly comment. This show's being recorded. Everything's fine in the Scottish legal profession.
And there is.
Wow. There is also, and you will have noticed, anyone who's in the media, if you've been in a production office, there is still, I feel, like if it was outside of television, I don't think it would be allowed to go on in the company because there are laws against it. But there is still an awful lot of men abusing their power with young women in the workplace that I've seen where I go, oh my God, touching, flirtiness. They don't have really the ability to say no because they want to have a job in television.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on and nobody would say anything about it because then it's still that thing, well, then you're trouble,
I still think women are very much raised to be people pleasers. We're expected to say yes. Sarah's wearing a very interesting necklace.
Oh, my necklace is it's a company online that you can just pick any word you like, and I've got like a feminist one and other things, and I've just got the word no because it's my favourite fucking word. I love the word no. I only recently discovered it. I think I said yes a lot, and I used to try and say yes to things I really wanted to do, but ultimately I ended up saying yes to things that I thought I should do, and then only recently I discovered the no word, and now I think at my age and slightly worried that I might never say yes ever again. So I say no a fucking lot.
I like it. It's a good signal, though, isn't it? To people coming out and going, oh.
Well, yeah, because it's red and white spotty. I think it's not harsh. It's not saying no. It's saying no. Whatever it is you're about to ask for, no. It's gentle, but still, wow, fuck off.
We're going to take a little interval, but just before we do, I think Sarah had a little story about the last time she was in this particular venue.
Okay, I think it was either the last time or the last time but one. I came to see a play and a pie and a pint. Has anybody seen that before? Yeah, okay. If you haven't, it's exactly as it sounds. It's very self-explanatory. So you come in and there's a play happening beforehand. You get your pint and of juice or of actual alcohol if you want, and you get a pie. And I came with Miss Susan Calman, and we came to see a play. I can't remember when it was, years ago, like a long time ago.
Certainly a few years ago.
Yeah, and so we got our pints and we got our pies, and Susan poured. She was a bit too excitable with the gravy, and
it was all you can eat gravy.
So she poured a bit too much gravy on, and then as we sat in our seats, she realised it was quite sort of precarious, so she sort of sucked some of the gravy off the side. So by now the lights are down. We watch the play, we have a lovely time, we leave the building, and as we're walking out, Susan spots some quite impressive sort of industry people that she wants to sort of schmooze with. And because it was quite early in your career as well, you were getting that I'll go and chat with them. And
still cared.
Yeah. And she chatted to them, and this is how good a friend I am. She chatted to them for a full 5 minutes, and then we walked away, and then I told her that she had gravy on her nose.
Like a daub of shit, ladies and gentlemen.
Susan literally brown-nosed.
I would say that I'm sorry, but I'm really not. It was this funny. We've got something to tell you. We just won an award. Standard Issue was nominated for the Publishing Award on the comedy website Chortle, which is happening in London right now, and one of our members of staff is there to just on the off chance, hopefully not standing too close to stage, but not standing too far away that you can't get there. It's really tricky being nominated for an award, and we fucking won. So I'm a bit giddy.
Yeah, they're good. Should we just start dancing?
Yeah. What have you got in your notebook?
Oh God, I've got to ask some actual questions.
Yeah.
Just seriously, can you not stop talking?
No, sorry. No, it's not.
Vicky's an award winner.
Yeah.
It's all different, isn't it?
I was going to say we were just like talking about learning, and you might have some actual genuine things you wanted to ask.
Oh, I don't care. I'm having a lovely time.
Yeah. It's nice here, isn't it?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
No, it's lovely. No, it's good. Yeah.
I mean, you haven't got gravy on your nose, so it's not exactly the same as last time. But
I don't come up this way very often because I live on the south side, so it's quite exciting.
shut up.
Do you know why I moved to the south side? Because I could afford a 5-bedroom flat. That is why I went to the south side. For about 20p. Sold a 1-bedroom flat in Partick for a fortune, moved to the south side, I've got a bloody palace, fuck you. And I can park my bloody car anywhere I want.
Is this the flat that I stayed in?
Yeah.
Oh, I stayed with...
Christ.
I stayed with Susan and her wife once, a good while ago. I think I was playing maybe the stand or somewhere.
Yeah.
And she said to me, we're trying to do up the spare room, so we've put a few pictures up and stuff, but we've lost the hammer. So she said, so if you find it in the bed, it's not a sign of anything.
And then she found a hammer in her bed. She's never stayed since, I don't know.
Okay, so apart from checking your nose for gravy, are there any rituals you do before you go on stage?
I go to the toilet about 97 times. The one thing it doesn't work all the time, but I'm not a diva, but when I go on tour, I always ask for a toilet backstage so I can go to the toilet as many times as I want to. Because if I have to share the toilet with the audience and I go to the toilet all the time, everyone looks at me and goes, oh, she's got a problem.
Or they think that you're nervous, and you might be nervous, but nerves are a good thing. Nerves means you care, you know.
Yeah. So I will go to the toilet, 40 times.
Do you always manage to get a few drops out?
Yes.
Good lass.
Squeeze it out. Yes, I always. And I also, I'm very nervous. I am very nervous when I go on stage. And I do a thing with a microphone. If you watch me on stage, you'll be able to spot this now. I get very shaky hands whenever I'm nervous. Like that, shaky hands. So whenever I start a gig, I always start with the microphone on my chin so that people can't see my hand shaking. And then when I relax, I drop it down. And I also, before I go on stage, I've got a bit of blue tack in every one of my pockets. And I do that, which stops your hand shaking if you
Really?
Yeah. So I've got marks on all my watches from bits of blue tack. So I stand and I do that so that the audience can't see how nervous I am.
How did you find that out, first of all?
It was purely because I was backstage at a comedy club once and they had posters up and I took the blue tack and I went like that and I thought, oh, this actually helps. So now I've got blue tack. There's blue tack all over my house that I take a bit of it before I go on stage and I do that.
Why didn't you hang your pictures up with it?
Why don't I hang my pictures up?
Instead of hammering them.
The bell.
Wall.
Because we put the nice picture of Glasgow University in the spear room because we had a visitor.
And then threatened with violence.
Yes. But really lovely pictures of Glasgow up in the spare room so that when Sarah came, she'd go, oh, what lovely.
There's also like windows that I could see Glasgow.
Well, you can see the back court in Pollock Shields, which, to be fair, isn't the best sometimes. Do you know, I once saw someone, I tweeted this and everyone shouted at me, I saw a man running off with my washing pole once. Because it was a nice day and I was doing my washing and someone on Twitter, someone in Glasgow went, why didn't you put your washing out? And I was like, because someone ran off with my washing pole. And people were like, oh, that's a terrible thing, Glasgow's awful. And I was like, no, some fucker ran off with my washing pole. I saw him, he jumped over the fence. I said, well, did he put it on? There are no washing poles anywhere in the back courts in Pollock Shields.
I know. I know why I stole it, because it's very hard to find a washing pole. Because I have a washing line, and then I thought, well,
this is from Edinburgh. He's got a washing pole.
No, I've let them tone down. People don't put out their washing. You've got wash and dryers. But you need the thing to put it up. Otherwise, I put it up, and all the washing goes like that. And I went, oh, I need one of those things. Go to Pollock Shields. Apparently, there's loads of them. Yeah.
And I'll just say the bench. I mean, we got the fence redone, but it's not a palatial garden. It's not very nice at the back. It's not my fault. I do my best. I live in a tenement. We can only do as much as we possibly can.
So just me saying about the shaky hands thing, when I started doing when I started gigging and I was using, a new material gig, I always used bits of paper.
Yeah.
And then I very quickly cottoned on to using index cards instead because they don't shake so much.
I did it with clipboard.
Oh, that's good.
Because you don't realise, and because you'll be feeling not nervous but keyed up.
Yeah,
because you're thinking about what you're going to do. And I would do that. If I was going to read something, like read a story or read something, and then I suddenly, and it takes you by surprise, you go, oh my God. And it is the thing, because the blood is all in your head thinking, and your arms are going, we haven't got any fucking blood.
It can be really difficult. The first time I did Have I Got News For You, shitting myself. Because it's a show I've watched from shitting myself. I'm there, I know the camera's not on me, so I think I'll take a wee glass of water.
I had to present an award at the BAFTAs the one time that I went, and I had to present an award, and I had no idea that when people say your knees knock, that it was a real thing. And I could feel them clacking. I had no idea it was a thing.
It's
shut my pants.
It's an adrenaline. But yeah, especially if you're... So I'm about to start a preview tour of The Fringe. I haven't been on stage and done a gig since June last year. So this will be my first ever stand-up. This will be my first stand-up gig in, almost a year. In Deal. Lucky people.
That is lovely.
It is nice and dear.
Yeah, and not a lot goes there. They'll love it, whatever.
Yes, sold out. Sold out.
They're not going to go boo. They'll go, oh no, somebody hasn't been here for months. Come on. We'll watch.
Yeah. Thank you.
You'll watch you shaky dancing. Having a glass of water.
So that it's an adrenaline thing as well as nerves, because you do get this huge surge of fear and excitement and everything else before you stand on stage. But what I can't do is stand still. I pace around as part of the thing. You can stand in the one place. I'm always very jealous of you.
Well, because I'm in the middle of exactly dead in the centre in the middle of a tour at the moment, and I can stand a bit. What I've got is my house music, so the music while people are sitting down and get themselves comfy before we start the show is always danceable to. That's my rule. So no matter what's on at the moment, I can always have a little bit of a dance. But then I was dancing with my support at the end of the last tour with Jonathan Mayer was supporting that night, who was a lovely band, and we were dancing a bit too vigorously that when I went out on stage they shouted my name. I was out of breath. So I was dancing a bit too much, but I sometimes go behind the curtain, so the support will be on, and I go behind the curtain because my tour manager's standing beside me ready to press buttons and things, and I go behind the curtain and do a fart. Because nerves seems to make me quite farty, and my tour manager's a nice man, he doesn't need that 172 times, so I just sit, and I used to just sidle off, look, I was pacing, and I wasn't pacing, but now I go, I'm going to go and do a fart over there, and he goes, okay.
Can I tell you the strangest... Right, okay. Can I tell you... I'll say it. I don't gig very often with other people anymore, just because I do my own tours. So I don't do club gigs and stuff anymore. It's just a choice, because I was finding it more difficult to do club gigs, not because the audiences were more difficult, but the other comedians were more difficult. No, it is quite difficult when you compare and there's a misogynist on before you and you have to go, ladies and gentlemen, that was amazing. When you want to go, he's a dick. And I did a gig not that long ago with a comedian. He's not a dick, the comedian. But what I noticed was, and it's strange when you watch another comedian, I don't know if you've ever done this, and you spot their little kind of tails.
Their tick.
There's a comedian, I'll set up there. Yeah. And when he told the punchline, he did that.
What, did a little penis thrust?
He did a little... Yeah.
Oh.
So when he did that, and I was
when he told the punchline, or when they laughed?
Laughing. Did I do that?
You're right, when they laughed. He, and he wasn't doing it like that. It was just a natural thing.
Did you tell him?
No. I was there for 20 minutes just going, Jesus. Wow.
What do you do before you go on stage, Joe? Do you have things that you always do?
It depends if I'm doing my own show, or if I'm with other people. Like if I'm with other comics, then I want to avoid the people who talk too much at you, usually men. They will talk a lot at you. And so you go, I really don't want to hear about your jokes or anything to do with your brilliant career, which they don't have, but they tell you they have. And most comics have that where they, you sort of go into your own head, and comics understand it, where we're having a conversation, but I know that you're not listening and I'm not listening even to myself or to you. Because you're sort of on stage already. Yeah. And that's why if people who aren't comics come in the dressing room, because they always think, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. What's for comics is just going to be comedy. And they come in and so a lot of people just go, I'm so annoying. or they'll start to have a conversation. You'll go, I can't.
Yeah.
So do a bit of that. Like you just need to get in the zone. And sometimes I like to be in the room as well. I like to look at people as well. I like to see people, and there are certain people I look out for, and I go, oh, good, I got one of them. So sometimes I like to just see what they look like. Sometimes I don't like. If I'm on tour, I don't like to know because also I just think that whoever they are, they've come to see me. I fucking love them all because they've bought a ticket. They've not just come to a general comedy club where I can go. I don't like them, but do you know what? I often before a gig, if I do look at the audience, I decide I don't like anyone in the audience, and that seems to be my process, that I sort of look at you and go, I wouldn't choose to have a conversation with any of you fucking people, none of you. And I think it's to get myself ready that then I will be pleasantly surprised. Like I look and go, I hate all of them, we've got nothing in common, they're going to hate me, and it also makes me go on in quite a bad mood, which is better, it's funnier, so then I go on going, here's some fucking joke. Oh, you like that, do you? So I'm a bit passive-aggressive, like that.
It's not passive.
No, it's not passive. Damn it. Yeah.
It's just aggressive.
Yeah, just aggressive. Yeah. But what's that word where you preempt it? You preempt it by being aggressive to you.
Like a preemptive strike.
And then by the end, then it's all love. Then by the end, I've had it's like I start, it's like a reverse of relationship. Relationship is all love and then you hate them. I start off hating you, but then I grow to love you. It's like an arranged marriage, maybe. Yeah.
Well,
When did you first realise you were funny, Joe?
That is passive aggressive,
isn't it? That was really passive aggressive outside. That really was. It would be worse if she said, "When did you first think you were?"
Yeah. But I was looking at her, and I think she wanted to say that. But yeah. I do know it sounds so precocious and I would slap me. I liked making people laugh. I think that's the thing about comics. And honest, I've got friends who are funnier than me, but they don't get the same thrill. But I realised quite early on I get a thrill out of making people laugh. And I used to. My mum and dad were in the Air Force. Well, my mum wasn't. She was a teacher. But my dad was in the Air Force, right? But my mum and dad are both from Northern Ireland. So my mum, they then came to England, and my dad was an officer. So my mum thought everyone was terribly uppity, She thought everyone was really, really posh, which they were, I suppose. And so when my mum, they would have, which my mum thought was ludicrous, because she had little kids then, so she wasn't working, but she went back to work as soon as she could to get away from coffee mornings, where the officers' wives would come round, and she said basically what they would do, she said, I never went to the toilet because they would just rip you to shreds the moment you left the room. But I would do impressions of her friends, how they sounded to me, and I would just do impressions of people. I'd go and then Mrs. Gilbert went, oh my God, and then there was a pig. Oh! And I said, that's what it sounded like to me. The whole morning was people just going, like that. And my mum would love it. And then she would go, do Mrs. Davidson. And then I would do the other women until I did it in front of them. Because I thought, well, my mum really likes it. And they're here. So they would love it. Yeah. But I think it was just, and then when I was waitressing I waitressed for a very long time. I waitressed to the point of bitterness. Like where I physically could not serve people anymore. Like I was like, and then I got sacked for stealing because I had to steal because I hated everything so much.
Well, What did you steal?
Oh, I fiddled. They can't do it now. Poor people working behind the bar, they can't fiddle. It used to be you could fiddle before electronic till.
Don't challenge them, by the way.
Yeah. It would just be, oh, you're having a second bottle of wine? There it is. And you just put stuff on and you don't write in, and then you write the bill. That's how it works. But they can't do that now. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
The reason they can't do it now is because of people like you.
Yeah, they had to invent, I think they invented computers because of me. We have to cut down on that. Yeah, but it was, and then I would be funny. I found I could get tips if I was funny, but if I'd be funny in a rude way to people. And again, I'd be quite thrilled about that, you know.
So when did you start doing it on stage?
Oh, a very long time later.
Hi.
Yeah. It was weirdly, I went for a year to do to a drama school for a year. I did a postgraduate, even though I wasn't a graduate.
Your life's just a lie, Caulfield.
What postgraduate is you're 28 and you should have done something with your life.
Right.
So I thought, I'll go to drama school for a year, and I could only afford a year. And it was a really terrible drama school. It's called East 15, and they did method acting. Ruby Wax went there. And Alison Steadman, that's the only famous people who've ever gone there. And but it was method, and they would like to break you down and build you up. Because we were all older, we would just go, we're not doing that. Because they played a game. They did a game called Nazis and Jews. Honest to God, this is the real thing. Yeah. And these kids are 17 and 18, and they would make them go and stay in this country house place. And then when you would have your role, and they would, hunt each other down. It was all awful.
Oh my God.
Woman was a lunatic who ran it. But we did, this is so tragic, but it was method. It's horrific. It's horrific. And thank God I was old enough to go, I'm not doing that. But because it was method, and we were doing Chekhov, and there was this lovely old man who was also doing the course. He was 66, and he'd been a civil servant all his life, and all he wanted to do was act, right? So he was having his teenage years at the drama school. And because they're doing Chekhov, and he was playing a peasant, he lived on vodka and cloves of garlic. And he would be coming out, and he would sing, because it was all coming through the pores. And so he would eat cloves of garlic because, I've read it up, the Russian peasants, that's what they eat. And he would drink the vodka, and it all came out in pustules on his face, and it was horrific. And then he died. he genuinely died. Oh, God. Terrible. Yeah, we all went to his funeral, but in a way it was happy because I thought, he had a really controlled life, and he was, honestly, those weeks with the garlic and the vodka, he'd never been so happy.
And you would do Gillian Tailforth. This is the thing. You would pretend to do a blowjob in a bottle, but Nazis and Jews, whatever.
Oh, I never did Nazis.
You never
did.
did?
No, that was only for the youngsters.
Well, it is a young person's game, isn't it?
Oh, but while we were there was an exercise to do 5 minutes of stand-up comedy, and everyone would just do it. But there was something about it, and I really thought about it, and I kept going, I'll do it next week, and I worked on it. And when I did it for the class, only because nobody else put any thought into it, and when I did mine, I was like, that was good. And I'd sort of structured it, and I'd started to watch comedy in a different kind of way, and that's when I thought, I'll try, and I went and did an open mic spot.
Susan?
Nothing as exciting as that. I was not an atypical class clown. I went to my school reunion not that long ago, so my wife could understand why I am the way I am. And a girl I was at school with approached me. She was quite drunk and looked down on me, as everyone did, and said, I don't understand it, Susan. It's just weren't funny at school. Thank you. I did everything wrong in that I've always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I didn't know what that meant. I just liked Victoria Wood and Billy Connolly and French and Saunders. When I Left school in 1992 in Glasgow. There was only one comedy club, which was Blackfriars in the Merchant City, which was lovely Fred Macaulay and Parrot, but it was a boys' club as far as I could see. I mean, I'm not saying that they made it that way, it just seemed that way. And also, if you said you wanted to be a stand-up comedian, your parents would have said, I think you'll be getting a job. So I went to university, still wanted to be a stand-up. After my 30th birthday, I realised whilst I liked the law, I did not enjoy being a lawyer, and thought, well, I have to do something about it now, because if I don't do it now, I'll get promoted, I'll probably earn quite a lot of money, and I'll be trapped by my life. Well, you see it all the time. The reason why rich people are often miserable is they have children. And, I phoned, I heard there was something called The Stand. I phoned up and said, hello, can I come on at The Stand? And they went, you can have 5 minutes at Red Raw on a Tuesday night in 3 weeks. And I went, thank you. And I'd never been to The Stand. I'd never seen stand-up comedy. I'd never set foot in a comedy club.
I was the same. I'd seen one.
Knew I had to do 5 minutes. Turned up, did 5 minutes. And then thought, well, they'll book me for a weekend now, won't they? That's not what happens. I didn't have a lot of friends in stand-up at that point until I met actually funny women. People like Sarah and Holly Walsh. And I didn't realise you just had to do the same 5 minutes until it was good. And I thought you had to do a different 5 minutes every time, which has led to one of the most incredible deaths of my career. On a Sunday night at the Stand Comedy Club in front of Dorothy Paul. Dorothy Paul was in the audience. I was trying out a new 15 minutes, because that's what you do, about painted hunting dogs.
Quite niche, I think.
Yes. It already sounds like gold.
And it was horrific. Absolutely. Of course it was horrific. Shit. And afterwards, I think it was Raymond Mearns went, what the fuck did you do there? And I went, I did a new 15 minutes. I went, people have been doing the same 20 minutes for 10 years. And I went, oh. And then I spent about 4 or 5 years until I think I got funny in 2012. Genuinely. I think that's when I got funny. Genuinely. The rest of the time was practicing and getting better at stand-up. And then in 2012, I realised what I do that makes me funny. And because up to that point, the shows had been okay. I'd been all right. And then in 2012, I finally realised what it was I wanted to do as a comedian, which is not tell jokes, but tell a series of meandering stories with no conclusion. And that's what I do now. So I really think it took a long time before and I think the thing about comedy is if you start doing comedy, you're not automatically brilliant at it. You find what you want to do, you practice. I mean, all of us here have done hundreds of thousands of gigs in shitty places to get better at what we do.
And travel a lot.
I remember one of my first and everlasting memories of Joe Caulfield is when I won the Newcomer Award, and I couldn't in Edinburgh, and I couldn't get a signal in the room. And I wanted to go out and ring my boyfriend and my mum and everybody. And as I walked past you, you said, well done, you've done the driving. And I thought that was brilliant, because it was that I'd done the work. I'd done the legwork. I'd done the hard work and the work. And it was, you didn't say, well done, you're really funny. It was really nice that, no, it's a big...
Not often I come across as the nice one on a panel.
No, it was a bigger compliment, because I always consider that I'm a hard worker, and I think it's not a magic formula. I think that you just, if you're good and you work hard, then you will progress. And how you progress is dependent on many, many factors. But the fact that you recognise that I'd worked hard meant more than other compliments that I got that night. So thank you.
Fuck you, Susan.
Yeah, we did work hard.
Well, I would have said something nice, but I wasn't fucking invited to the party. Because I wasn't on any lists. I worked my way up the hard way, and I'm still not on the list for any of these parties. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm a comic of the people. I want to be nominated.
I think also is like you're saying, it takes a long time, but also it takes quite a long. I think you learn how to be funny in front of an audience,
yes.
And then you could go, oh, I can do 20 minutes, and I can do crowd control, and do that, and then you then that's what you're saying. You only think you were funny recently was because you go, oh, but how am I funny?
Yes.
What? And then you start to reject things and go, yeah, that is funny. It would get a laugh, but I don't want to do that kind of joke.
I walked off stage. I've never walked off stage before, apart from Edinburgh Jongleurs. And I was still feeling that I had to do Jongleurs because they paid quite a lot of money and, whatever. People say that's what proper comics do. And terrible sound system. Compere had gone on, done the best that the Compere could do in a terrible, awful room, terrible room. There was a man dressed as a penis, which was apt. And not going well. I said to the guy what to do for a living, and he said something like fuck fat dykes or something like that. And the rest of the room cheered, which is always a bad sign because it means you don't have the room. And I was about to come back to him with something fairly horrific or whatever, and I thought, I don't want to do this. I didn't get into comedy to insult people, to shout at them. And so I put the mic back in the stand, walked out of Edinburgh Jongleurs, straight into my car and drove home. And the man who ran Jongleurs phoned and said, what happened there? And I said, I don't want to do it. And he said, well, you should be able to play any room. I said, I can play any room. I just choose not to play any room. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference between saying you can't do something and saying, I actually don't want my soul to die.
Yeah. Or
I didn't give up my job.
Insulted like that.
Yeah. I didn't give up my job to do this for the money, which is good. So if I really wanted to do the money, then I'd be doing something else. I didn't do that. I did it to be happy. So it's not that I can't do Jongleurs or equivalent. I just don't want to. I'd rather stay at home and do the ironing. Quite frankly.
That's a huge thing to do with confidence. So we were chatting backstage about how women get a lot more, well, we all get a lot more confident as we get older. So what has been the best thing for you about getting older? Let's start with Sarah.
The no thing is a big thing. I think that's because I just turned 40 and I think I say no a lot more, and I realise I don't always have to give a reason. So if somebody wants me to do something and I don't want to do it, I don't go, sorry, but I'm really busy and I've got this thing and I should really do that. I just go, oh, I'm really sorry, I can't. And they go, oh. And it's great because I don't have to give a reason. So I think that's sort of age has given me that kind of perspective that I'm allowed to just not want to do something and I don't have to give a reason why. And also, I think I don't give a shit about unimportant things. I think I realise what's important and I disregard everything else largely. So I try and make myself happy without hopefully making other people unhappy. That's not generally the plan. But I try and realise that I can think about myself. I can put myself first. And I don't think I really did before that. I think I put other people first. So it's not a funny answer, sorry, but that's how I feel.
Don't be sorry.
No apologies. Fuck you.
There she is.
Oh, yeah.
Joe?
Definitely getting more confident as you get older. It took me a long time to be confident. And also, as you get older, also more things happen, and things happen to other people that make you, go, oh, God, life is short, isn't it? And I think you get more like people who you've gone, oh, there's something weird in that friendship, but we're friends. Then you go, oh, fuck them. No. Yeah, because,
I hear you, sister.
People die, people get ill. Why am I wasting my time with you? And you concentrate on people you really like and who really like you.
And people who lift you up and people people who are willing to be kind of, I've got really good friendships that are sort of reciprocated. So somebody will ring me if the shit has hit the fan, but equally I feel like I can ring them rather than just the people who ring you.
Yeah.
And that you think, oh, I wouldn't even consider ringing them, then they have to disappear. I don't kill them. Yeah, it's really bad.
She does disappear. That hammer in her bed.
Yeah.
And also not doing things that you don't want. Like, it just in general, not like important things. Like people might go, Sarah, do you want to do a new TV show? And you'll go, no. But people go to me, oh, we're going to go club and do shots. I go, oh, no. I've got a seat and a bottle of wine. You know what I mean? I think you make better choices as you get older.
Just imagine you doing shots and wine at the bar.
Yeah, she'll do that later. I think the most important thing is confidence. I think I said something recent. I did something recently, and I made a comment to someone, and it was an absolutely correct comment. And then I was crippled for the weekend, going, oh, I shouldn't have said that, and I should apologise for saying that. And then I thought, no, but what I said was right. It was just a comment about something else that was going on. And the thing that I battle most with is saying, no, I was right. And I should stop saying my opinion is not valid. So if I'm treated badly on a show, and I don't mean in terms of there's no grapes backstage, but I mean in terms of, it happens a lot because genuinely because of my nationality. In the same way as I hate jokes about being a lesbian, really kind of stereotypical joke, why can't I say, what's wrong with me that I can't go, find something funnier to laugh at? Look at me. I'm tiny. Take the piss out of that. So what I have to work on as I get older is not apologising for being right. And this is how I feel about what you said to me. And I should be able to say, I don't like what you've said to me. And I people are surprised because I appear quite forthright. But the older I get, the more I go, no, fuck it, that was wrong. It's causing a few problems.
We both did a show. We did a show, and this is what happens because it was all male writers and they never thought about it. Do you remember? Wasn't a good show. So it's a radio show. Now, I can't even remember. So each comic had an intro that the host was going to say.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what the joke was about me, but it was a sexual joke. It was a joke about Jo Caulfield. She's a woman. Here's a sex joke. So that had come through in the script, and I said, I'm not happy about that joke. Why you are not? Why, because I'm a woman, you've made a sex joke. I'm on here as a comedian. It feels very undermining that you do a sex joke. And then they did a similar joke about you. It was something to do with being a lesbian and cock.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? That was basically, they put those ingredients together and they're like that.
Comedy magic.
But the men, they didn't do jokes like that. But both of ours were about our sex and sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we complained, and they had to write different jokes that were both shit as well.
Yes.
But at least they weren't about our gender or sexuality.
I did a show with Richard Herring. One of the funniest moments. I don't mean to terrify men. It just happens. Show with Richard Herring, who's a lovely man. Anyway, they said, the writers have written you some jokes. And I said, I don't think I need any jokes. It's a show about maths. I'll be all right. But they came, we've written you some jokes. I went, no, you're all right. Anyway, and the writer went, no, we've written you some jokes. I went, all right, show us them. And one of them was, we had to do a chandelier full of flowers. Anyway, it's long, it's very complicated. Television is such a pile of shite sometimes. Anyway, so one of the jokes was, Richard was to say, oh, Elton John wants one of them. And I was to say, well, I want 52-inch legs and tits like torpedoes, but it's not going to happen. And I looked at it and I went, son.
Is that your go-to? Because I say, look, flower.
Yeah. I said, son, do you think I'm going to say that? And he went, well, it's quite funny. And I said, and I didn't mean, do you know who I am? As in, do you know who I am? I said, do you know who I am? And he went, yeah, Susan Calman. I went, do you think in any realm of possibility, in all the kingdoms in Game of Thrones, that I would ever suggest that I wanted tits like torpedoes? And he went, oh, it's funny though. And I went, it's really not funny. I said, mate, son, if you ever put something like that in front of me again, I'm going to lose my temper. And he went, shall I get rid of the second page? And I said, I think you should.
Torpedoes long. I don't even get the roll.
I know, but it's just that
they leave your body. They take sounds very dangerous.
Explode and kill people. It's so good.
I think the difficulty, I try now more than people will ever know, stand up for what I think is right, and it does cause problems with my lovely agent who goes, oh, what have you done now? Every time I phone her after the show, she goes, oh shit, what have you done now? Oh, thanks. But I do try and stand up for myself, but I need to stop apologising for what I think is the right thing to do. Because the hope is, whilst I'm not saying there's any crusade going on, that if another woman goes on one of these shows, they won't even have to say, how about we don't do a sexual joke
Yeah.
when we're introduced? You know, this is the thing. We have to kind of try and make it better in the future, because it's 2016 and it's not really getting a lot better right now. So maybe in another 30 years it'll be fine.
I have discussions about clothes like that when I do telly jobs, and I don't really understand, because I think as long as I'm covered, you know, as long as he's not a kid hanging out, what the fuck does it matter what I'm wearing? I mean, yes, I should probably be ironed because of this television, but there's always somebody there with a steamer, so it's fine. But I've had discussions like that where they say, we don't want you to wear this, we want you to wear this. And I say, well, I want to wear that. And they go, well, we like this one. And I go, don't give a shit. Genuinely, I don't care what you want me to wear. Like, unless it's one of those things where they're strobing or they're patterned or whatever, and it's going to affect people's eyes and make them blind when they're watching the telly. I understand. I don't want to make people blind. But also, I don't think people watching telly are watching me to find out what the fuck I'm wearing. I wouldn't.
Do you think it's easier or harder out there for young women today?
Out where?
In the world?
Just in the world?
In the world, yeah.
Depends where in the world you are.
Okay. Yeah.
Shall we say here?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's probably a bit of both. I think in some ways it's harder because of the amount of sort of visual imagery we get put in front of us of the perfect form, whatever that is, and the kind of pressure to conform to that. I think that's probably worse, because I think, like, when Joe was talking about sort of Blondie and people like that, there were kind of cooler people who all looked like different was good.
Yeah.
Where I don't think different is, I think people think that different is bad now, where it's not different, it's definitely good. And I think this, so then there's pressure on that, but also just social media and stuff. I think there's a lot of pressure of people being kind of body shamed publicly. Like, if I was bullied at school, it would be somebody shouting at me in a schoolyard and maybe me having a little cry on the way home. But they certainly couldn't then text me or put it on my Facebook page, or like we had an article in the magazine about being sort of, it was be chuffed with your chuff, and it was about how fannies all look different and that it's fine. And it was written by a doctor.
They do all look different. I can verify that.
Have you seen
All of them.
You haven't seen mine.
Yes, I have.
Oh, there was that photo of
Cameron in the room.
Oh, no, was it on the end of the hammer? Because I didn't fuck the hammer. I didn't fuck a hammer. Please don't. If that's the thing you take away from tonight, don't let it be that I'd fucked a hammer.
Yeah, please don't start tweeting hashtag fuck the hammer. That would be like, it's an award-winning magazine now.
But because she'd had experiences of girls coming in to her surgery and saying that a boy had said that her fanny looked weird because of his own experience of being pornography. And then she was coming into the doctor's surgery to say, I would like to have surgery to change it so that it looks how it's supposed to look.
And she about 15, 16?
Yeah, she was 15, 16. And she, and I don't know if it was the same story or another girl who'd had, because she'd obviously gone a little bit further with a boy, and he'd said, oh, that looks weird. He'd then put on her Facebook page, and then everybody saw that. And I think, so in some ways, it's like pre-internet and pre-mobile phones for us was a lot easier.
I've got a 4-year-old niece. She lives in London, the East End of London. She sounds like Dick Van Dyke on helium. It's horrific. She comes up to Glasgow. We all speak normally. She goes, oh, this is it. Translates to proper words like big milk. So, go and get a big milk. What? They know what I mean. Big milk. I worry because she's a wee sausage, and I went round to dinner at my sister's house, and she said she wanted to be an astronomer or an astronaut because she'd been watching Tim Peake on CBBC. And I don't care what she wants as long as she wants to do something. And as long as she's confident. I love the fact she goes, I'm going to be an astronomer, Auntie Susan. Oh, I'm doing it, Auntie Susan. And I worry for her. And actually, of all the things, I do a lot of children's BBC. oddly. And one of the
because they're not threatened by you.
Yes. One of the reasons I do it is that I want her to be able to watch someone on television who doesn't look necessarily only my auntie, but I want. When I grew up, Sandy Toksvig was very important to me because she was on number 73 and she looked very different from a lot of the other people that were on television. And I always remember watching her and thinking, oh, there's someone who's a bit short but quite funny, and that's amazing. And she was very important. And I think for girls who are under pressure, one of the reasons why we do need to keep being on television, whilst we don't sometimes like it, is that actually I remember watching television and seeing people who weren't, these glamorous women, but who were amazing. And I think that's quite important. So I now do a lot of work so that she can have a better life. I don't have any children. I have cats, and that's fine. But I feel responsibility to make the world better for my niece because I don't want her... I would hate to think in 2030 that she has to put up with the same shit that I do just now.
I think that's one of the reasons why we started Standard Issue as well, was because we just wanted to have sort of teenage girls to have an alternative, so that not the only thing they looked at was an article or a magazine saying, this is the ideal and you're not there yet, but we'll help you get there. And that's not what we do. We say, what are you like? That's brilliant. And we are very positive and very kind of hopefully empowering. And I just thought, because when I mentioned it to my agent that I wanted to set up a magazine, I thought she might not be that interested because it's nothing to do with all the other things that I do. And she said, I've got 2 daughters. I'm really interested, because she just wanted something for them to use, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I started out in journalism, I actually used to write for the lads' mags, which is an interesting turnabout. But I didn't want to write for the women's mags because they're all like, how to get your man, how to keep your man, how to please your man. I was like, oh, fuck off. It's all about pleasing yourself. And I think it's all about empowering ourselves and having that confidence earlier rather than having to get a little bit older to get it.
They don't know. So my niece plays a game with her best friend at school called Auntie Lee and Auntie Susan, which is my wife and I. And they dress up as princesses and look after the babies.
So it's just like life then.
It's just like that. Quite wrong. But there's no problem, and it's absolutely fine. They don't have a problem. Kids learn to feel bad about other people and other things from society and from us. So if they see, and I actually think Children's BBC does a tremendous job of showing diversity and showing kids amazing stuff. But that's the key is people going forward. Kids like my little niece not growing up thinking as terribly of herself as I did of myself. That's the aim, I think.
It's a good aim.
I think, well, I don't know loads of young women, but young women I do meet, I'm always pleasantly surprised at how confident they are, and they feel different to my generation. I think there is a difference in what they expect and how they've been brought up. They've been brought up by women who were a bit further forward than my mum, who was like a Catholic from Northern Ireland, wasn't even allowed to have a job once she'd got married, So I think they are much more confident. And also they're quite aware, like my niece is 25, and she was saying about, they're aware of what they do in magazines. They're aware that people are airbrushed and that they've cut bits out of their calves and their thighs. And she's a beautiful, bigger girl, beautifully happy and confident, and not any kind of, I've looked in this magazine. She just looks because she loves clothes and things. And I feel hopeful that there is a difference.
I think they're more willing to use the word feminist as well. They seem to be taking control of that. Even kids as young as like 15, they're claiming that word.
But I did a thing at Noonan College in Cambridge, at the Women's College there, with our deputy editor, Hannah, and she said it doesn't really matter if people aren't, some people are scared of the word feminist for whatever connotations it has. And she said if you live the life, it doesn't matter if you use the word. And I like that. I thought that was really true.